had a conversation with Arizona's top economist, Jim Rounds, to talk about Peoria and its future economic development capability.
What can a community do to improve their position over time? Do you have to focus on fundamentals like transportation and workforce? Do you have to focus on other things? But it always comes back to economic development. We had a great discussion about your philosophy on economic development and how it translates into a healthy economy in general. I'd love if you could repeat that.
Yeah, I think really the strong foundational I say this all the time. It's the first dollar out of your pocket principle, right? But if you don't have that strong foundation as a city or as a business, so as a business person, if you don't have your strong foundation, you don't have a strong base. And you could say that with anything. You could say that in a relationship. You could say that in a city government. You could say that in a business. I believe that if you don't have those strong foundational principles that you actually put into place that help you drive, what your goal is, if you're a goal-oriented person or a goal-oriented city, for this matter. And I think that I look at it as your first dollar out of your pocket shows your priority. If you're not looking at where you're spending your dollar, and any of us, I could look at your checkbook, you could look at my checkbook, and we'd probably be able to see each other's priorities because we'd see what we're spending on a monthly basis, whether it's Netflix or Hulu or whatever it is, or car or gas. In this situation, we're all spending more money on gas right now. And I think that the overall aspect of that having that strong foundational principle of being disciplined with your dollar, looking at what you're actually focused on for your city's future, your business's future, your family's future. I do not see that happening with our city. There's certain areas where us as a city has done really, really well when it comes to wastewater management and clean water. We've done really well with water in the city. And we've had multiple mayors prior to the current mayor that is focused on those principles, and they've done really well with that. What we haven't done well is really focused on the business principles that actually drives businesses to stay here or be here or recruit them. I call it an investor confidence. If we don't have confidence of you or I to actually invest into our city and actually put our business here, knowing that we're going to be able to get to work, the city's going to get out of our way, and we're going to be able to drive revenue for our business, that's important. Why that's important as a foundational principle is because that actually drives revenue long term. That's not a short-term principle. That is a long-term focus on what your goals are for a city. And I would say the same thing to my sons. My 13-year-old right now is going through the process of, hey, if you save your money and you actually put those principles together and you actually pay down debt or whatever that is, not that he's got debt at 14 years old, but if you don't teach them those strong foundational principles early on, they will. Well, that to me is where we're at. We're not focused on what our city's future is. We don't necessarily, we believe that people are just going to show up because we have parks, or that we have some public transportation, or we've got great open spaces. We have those things, that's awesome. But what is it going to entice a supplier for TSMC here to our city? What's going to entice developers to actually bring in economic development so we don't have 80% of our citizens leaving our city to actually go to work somewhere else? To learn more about the campaign, please visit our website at beckformayor.com.